Welcome, learner, to a brand new deep dive. Today, we're pouring ourselves into the fascinating world of Basque wine.
Sounds great.
You've sent over a rich collection of sources exploring, well, everything from its ancient history to the very soil that shapes these Atlantic gems.
Right.
Our mission: to unpack what makes Basque wines so uniquely compelling and, frankly, absolutely worth your attention.
It's quite something, isn't it? How many different threads kind of weave together right from the start. You have this incredibly strong cultural identity, a language you score completely unique in Europe,
Totally unique.
and a real dedication to their traditions.
Mhm.
So it's only natural these things would, influence their winemaking.
It really paints a picture geographically, too. I mean, imagine nestled where the Pyrenees meet the Atlantic. It's so different from the, let's say, sun-drenched vineyards we might think of elsewhere in Spain or France.
Absolutely. That close dance with the ocean,
Yeah.
you can almost feel it shaping everything.
The green hillsides, the wines themselves.
Precisely. That Atlantic influence means a temperate, humid climate, which really sets it apart.
And that has a direct impact, right, on the grapes.
A huge impact, often leading to that signature bright acidity and a lovely freshness in the wines.
Now, looking at the history, it's clear winemaking isn't, like, a recent thing there.
Not at all.
Some of your sources even suggest origins perhaps before the Romans, though the Romans definitely played a part in expanding it.
That's right. The history is long and, well, pretty fascinating. And like a lot of European wine regions, monasteries were crucial.
Ah, yes,
Yeah.
during the Middle Ages.
Exactly. Safeguarding and even developing winemaking. They're really the keepers of those early traditions.
And moving through time, the region faced setbacks, obviously. Phylloxera is the big one that always comes up.
Oh, yeah. Devastating impact.
But it's really inspiring how they recovered and even revitalized their winemaking. Establishing their denominations of origin seems key.
That creation of the DOs was a real turning point, no doubt.
Gave them structure, quality control.
Yes, and protected that unique regional identity. It
Uh-huh.
helped put Basque wines back in the spotlight, really.
Okay, so a name that keeps popping up, and one I know sparks curiosity, is txokoli.
Ah, Txokos.
It feels like this is the heart and soul, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Txokoli or Texocoline in Basque, it's undeniably the emblematic wine, a direct reflection of that Atlantic terroir and, well, the Basque culture itself.
So it captures the sun, but with a hint of sea breeze, like you said.
That's a great way to put it. Think bright but refreshing.
That description really gets it. That freshness, the light feel, maybe a little subtle fizz. Sounds perfect with the food there.
It truly is a symbiotic relationship. The wine and food evolved together. That vibrant acidity, the slight sparkle in Texicoli, it's such a wonderful counterpoint to the richness you often find, especially the seafood.
Oh, I bet.
Incredible seafood there.
So, learner, have you ever had a wine that just tastes like where it's from, truly captures the place?
That sense of place, yeah.
Well, Basque wines shaped by sea and mountains, they really deliver that. Okay, let's dive into the specifics, starting with these three main Texicoli denominations of origin.
Right. And what's interesting is how each one, Catariaco-Tsacolina, Vizcaco-Tsacolina, and Arabaco-Tsacolina, while they're all about Texicoli, offers its own unique spin.
Shaped by location, microclimate,
Exactly.
nuances.
Let's start with Catariaco-Tsacolina. Cataria sounds like ground zero for Texicoli,
Yeah.
right on the Gipuzkoa coast.
You can almost picture the vineyards breathing that salty air.
Totally.
You've got it exactly right. Guetaria is, considered the birthplace, the most traditional, widely recognized Texicoli.
Vineyards right by the sea.
Very close to the Cantabrian Sea. That humid Atlantic climate is just defining.
So the wines are light, young.
Typically light, very youthful, and they have that signature natural effervescence. You'll often get aromas of crisp green apple, bright citrus.
And that salty touch.
Definitely. A subtle, salty undertone for sure.
And the grapes making this happen are mainly the white Hammurabi Zuri and the red Hammurabi Belza. Yes. Although Hammurabi Zuri is the undisputed star in Getaria, it's the foundation for almost all their Texicoli.
Known for high acidity.
Naturally high, yeah. Hammurabi Belza is used, but for a much smaller production of reds and rosés there.
Right, and these light, refreshing wines, perfect with seafood you mentioned, grilled fish, anchovy.
Oh, absolutely perfect. Just simply prepared seafood sings with it.
Okay, moving slightly inland then to Tsakolina. Vizcaya. Sounds bigger, more diverse geographically.
It is a more expansive area in the Vizcaya province, stretches from the coast further inland.
Does that translate to more varied wines?
It does, absolutely.
Hmm.
A broader spectrum of Texicoli styles emerge from that diversity in terroir.
Still with the acidity and freshness?
Oh, yes, they all retain that essential character, but some might have a bit more body, maybe less fizz.
Ah.
Aromas can range to ripe, white fruits, citrus, even some herbal notes sometimes.
And Biscaya seems to do more with the reds and rosies, too, using Hammurabi Belza again.
Exactly. They explore those styles more extensively.
Offering more structure, maybe? Different flavors than Gatteria's versions?
They can, yes. The red and rosé Tixicolas from Vizcaya can show more noticeable tannins, richer red fruit character.
Yeah.
Highlights the versatility of Hammurabi Belza, really.
Interesting. Okay, finally, Arabaco Cecolina, Oliva. Youngest, smallest DO, further inland.
Right.
So maybe a slightly more continental climate influence here.
Yes, being further inland, Oliva gets a climate that's somewhat drier, a bit more continental than the coast.
And how does that affect the Chicacoli?
It often results in a Texicoli that tends to be drier, with less obvious effervescence and frequently a greater sense of structure on the palate.
Okay. Riper fruit aromas, herbaceous hints.
You might pick those up, yeah. Riper white fruits alongside those herbaceous notes.
And still working with Hammurabi Zuri and Hammurabi Belza.
Still the same core grapes.
So it's the same grapes, just expressing themselves differently based on the specific terroir.
Precisely. Really underscores how powerfully the environment shapes the final wine, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Even with the same varieties.
Definitely. Now, looking beyond Txokoli for a moment, the Basque Country also includes other important wine areas, right? Rioja Alavesa jumps out immediately.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Can't forget Rioja Alavesa. Situated within Oliva province, it's part of the prestigious Rioja Duca.
Known for elegant reds, good aging potential.
Very much so. Tempranillo really shines there, producing wines with lovely complexity and structure.
And we shouldn't overlook the French side, the Irlegi AOC. Smaller scale, maybe.
Production is smaller, yes, compared to the Spanish side.
But Txokoli is still part of their heritage over there, too.
It is. They have a tradition of making Texicoli alongside their perhaps more famous structured reds from Tannat and Cabernet Franc, for example.
So it's really clear that wine isn't just, a drink here. It seems deeply woven into the Basque identity.
Oh, completely. It's not just something they produce, it's part of who they are.
Part of the fabric.
Exactly.
Right.
Wine is integral to celebrations, traditions, and of course, that incredible gastronomy.
You see it everywhere. Festivities, family meals.
Absolutely. And that vibrant culture of pintxos, those amazing Basque tapas.
Which pairs so well with Txokoli, as we said.
Beautifully. A natural fit.
And those unique txokos, the gastronomic societies, that really highlights wine's central role, doesn't it, socially?
It really does. The txokos offer a fascinating window into how deeply food and wine, especially local wine, like Txokoli, are embedded in the Basque social structure.
It's more than just eating and drinking.
It's community, connection. And yeah, Txokoli has really become a modern symbol of Basque identity, representing their distinct cultural heritage.
Circling back to the history, we mentioned pre-Roman hints, Roman influence, but those monasteries in the Middle Ages seem so vital.
They were instrumental, safeguarding viticulture during, well, pretty turbulent times. They often had the resources and stability needed
to cultivate vineyards, refine techniques.
Right.
And then the setbacks, phylloxera again. It's such a recurring theme in European wine history. A tiny insect causing so much chaos.
It had a truly catastrophic impact everywhere, and the Basque Country was certainly hit hard. Widespread vineyard destruction.
Required replanting, grafting onto American rootstock.
The whole process,
Wow.
A massive undertaking and a real turning point in their viticultural history.
But then the 20th century brought new challenges, didn't it? Industrialization, urbanization, maybe drawing people away from farming.
That's a very valid point. The shift towards industry and cities did cause a decline in some rural activities, including winemaking in certain periods.
But maybe it also spurred a reaction, a focus back on quality.
In a way, yes. It also inadvertently perhaps led to a renewed focus on rediscovering and really valuing those unique indigenous grapes.
And that resurgence seems so important. That deliberate effort to bring back Hammurabi Zuri, Hammurabi Belza, speaks to that commitment to heritage.
Precisely. That dedication to their own varieties is what gives Basque wines their unique character. It sets them apart.
Okay, let's dig deeper into what makes the Basque terroir so special. It's more than just location, right? It's this complex mix.
Absolutely. Basque terroir is this fascinating interplay of climate, geography, soil, and even the human traditions of winemaking built up over centuries.
It gives that sense of place.
Exactly. Imparts that uniqueness to every wine.
So climate and geography, that Atlantic influence, is the recurring theme. Temperate, humid. But the Pyrenees Mountains are also huge.
They play a massive role, acting as a natural barrier, offering protection.
And creating diverse microclimates.
Exactly. Variations in altitude, slope orientation. It leads to a surprisingly wide array of microclimates across the region.
And rivers, too. You mentioned the Ebro in Rioja Alavesa.
Yeah, the Ebro Valley there has a notable influence, a bit more continental feel,
Yeah.
and it deposits those alluvial soils that Tempranillo loves.
Right. And then the soils themselves. Diverse. Clay limestone in Rioja Alavesa is often mentioned.
That's key for the reds there. Contributes to structure and aging.
But you also get sandy, rocky soils near the coast in Cateria.
Yep. And a whole spectrum in the more mountainous areas. Soil composition directly impacts vine vigor, water drainage, nutrients.
All affecting the final wine.
Absolutely.
And those microclimates influenced by the ocean, mountains, even just which way a slope faces, they must have a really subtle effect on grape ripening.
Oh, incredibly nuanced. Sunlight exposure, wind, daily temperature swings, all dictated by these local climates. They hugely affect how sugars and acids build up, how aromas develop.
So if we connect that back to the key regions, Rioja Alavesa's specific climate and soils let that elegant Tempranillo thrive.
Precisely. A bit warmer, drier than the coast, plus those clay limestone soils, ideal for Tempranillo with structure, acidity, and complexity.
Whereas in Gateria, it's that coastal humidity and those sandy, rocky soils defining the vibrant, maybe fizzy txokoli.
Exactly. The maritime air keeps acidity high, while well-draining soils manage vine vigor, concentrating flavors in the Hammurabi Zuri.
And Biscaya's diversity in landscape allows for that wider range of txokoli styles we talked about.
That's a perfect way to put it. The broader spectrum of styles directly reflects the wider array of microclimates and soils within Biscaya.
And even Irulegi, nestled in the Pyrenees foothills, gives you wines with more structure, quite different from the coast.
Yes, the higher altitude, generally cooler temps, different soils. It leads to wines with maybe more tannin, a distinct character, sometimes more earthy or herbal notes alongside the fruit.
Let's shift focus now to the real stars, the indigenous grape varieties, the Atlantic soul of Basque wine, as the notes say.
They really are. Perfectly adapted to local conditions, fundamental to the unique identity.
Hammurabi Beltza, the main red, sounds like it makes those vibrant lighter red and rosé txokolis. Fresh red fruit, noticeable acidity.
That's a very accurate picture. Wine's not typically for long aging, but super expressive when young. Bright red fruit, refreshing acidity makes them so food-friendly.
And Hammurabi Zuri, the white star, the grape behind most txokoli, known for that high natural acidity.
Crucial for the refreshing character.
Intense citrus, green apple aromas, and that characteristic saline minerality.
Absolutely. Hammurabi Zuri is the workhorse. That acidity, those lemon, grapefruit, green apple notes, the salty hint, it screams coastal origins. Typically dry, light-bodied, often with that lovely natural fizz.
And there are other native varieties too. Hammurabi's, Zuri Zerachia, Minamahatsa, Pitic Corbu, adding complexity maybe.
Exactly. These other autolysiments or native white varieties, while maybe in smaller amounts, can add really intriguing nuances to blends, different aromas, textures.
And it seems like there's not a huge presence of non-native grapes, keeping the focus local.
That seemed to be a deliberate choice for many producers, yeah. Emphasizing the unique character of their own grapes and terroir.
Okay, so how did these grapes become wine? The production side. Sounds like tradition meets innovation, adapting to the climate but using modern tech.
That's a very astute way to look at it. There's a deep connection to tradition, but they're definitely embracing modern techniques for quality and sustainability.
Viticulturally, dealing with that humidity must be priority one. Canopy management for airflow, strategic site selection on sunny slopes.
Absolutely critical. Good airflow prevents fungal diseases. Well-drained sites with sun help ripening. Even choosing the right rootstocks matters for vigor and disease resistance.
And using both the traditional pergola system, the para, alongside modern systems like Guyot, shows that respect for the past, right?
The para is a classic adaptation, great airflow. But modern systems offer other advantages, managing yields, optimizing quality, so you see a mix.
And it's good to hear about more sustainable and precision viticulture coming in.
Sustainability is definitely a growing focus, and precision techniques mean more efficient use of resources in the vineyard.
In the cellar, sounds like stainless steel fermentation with temperature control is standard to keep those fresh aromas.
Yes, that's the norm for most Tuscoli. Best way to retain those delicate primary aromas and the vibrancy.
And minimal skin contact for whites, controlled for rosés, longer for reds, makes sense for extracting color and tannin appropriately.
Precisely. Maceration is tailored to this style, getting the right balance of color, flavor, and tannin.
And txokoli is usually bottled young to keep that vibrancy and fizz.
Generally, yes, especially the whites. Bottling young retains that lively character and the dissolved CO2 for the spritz. It's meant to be drunk fresh.
And limited oak use keeps the focus on the fruit and terroir, not wood influence.
Exactly. Oak isn't really a traditional element in most Tuscoli. Lets the grape's primary aromas and acidity shine.
It's fascinating how the winemaker, the oenologist, has to balance all this, honoring tradition, using innovation, preserving txokoli's unique style.
It's a crucial role, respecting the heritage while using modern knowledge to push quality and consistency. Highlighting those primary grape aromas is always key.
Which leads perfectly into the different styles. Predominantly white txokoli, vibrant acidity, citrus aromas, often that slight fizz.
That's the defining style, absolutely. High acidity, citrus, maybe that's, for instance, what most people think of. Awakens the senses.
But also the red and rosé txokolis from Hammurabi Belzer. Red fruit notes, still fresh.
Yep, offering a different expression, showcasing the vibrant fruit and lively acidity of Hammurabi Belzer.
And that emerging sparkling txokoli using traditional methods. Sounds exciting.
It is indeed. Some producers are exploring that now. Keeps the high acidity, but adds complexity, celebratory appeal, a potential evolution.
Okay, let's paint a picture for the listener. What are these wines actually like when you taste them? Sensory profiles.
Right. This is where it all comes together for the person enjoying the wine.
So for txokoli, pale yellow, maybe greenish, intense citrus, green apple aromas, those saline hints. Then palate. Vibrant acidity stands out. Dry, light to medium body, often that natural effervescence.
That's a remarkably good description. Really captures it. It's a wine that wakes you up, leaves that fresh impression.
And sounds like there are even regional differences within txokoli itself. Getaria being particularly light, fresh, effervescent.
Getaria txokoli is definitely known for that lighter body, pronounced freshness, and that characteristic spritz. Super refreshing.
While Bizcaya might offer more structure, a wider aroma range.
Bizcaya txokolis often show a bit fuller body, a more diverse aromatic profile, probably reflecting that greater terroir complexity.
And Oliva, typically drier, less fizzy, maybe riper white fruit notes.
Oliva really stands out for being drier, less effervescent, with those subtle, riper fruit notes, a slightly different feel on the palate than its coastal cousins.
Now the food pairing, that harmony must be key to why they're so loved locally.
Oh, the relationship between txokoli and Basque food is just beautiful synergy. The high acidity is the perfect counterpoint to rich, flavorful dishes.
Cutting through the richness of pintxos, seafood, veggies, cured meats, cheeses, sounds like a perfect match.
Absolutely. Txokoli cleanses the palate, complements all those diverse flavors and textures in pintxos.
And it's the classic pairing for fresh seafood and fish, right? Given the coastal connection.
It's classic for a reason. The bright acidity, subtle minerality enhance delicate seafood flavors without overwhelming them.
And it can even work with lighter white meats?
Yes, its versatility goes beyond seafood. That refreshing character balances lighter meats nicely too.
And those tasting tips are useful. Serve well chilled. Maybe try the traditional high pour, the escanciado.
Definitely serve chilled to appreciate the freshness.
And focus on the acidity, citrus, mineral notes. That high pour aerates it, right? Releases aromas.
Exactly. The escanciado, while dramatic, serves a purpose aerating the wine as it splashes into the glass, releasing those volatile aromas. And yes, paying attention to that interplay of acidity, fruit, and minerality is key to understanding it.
Okay, finally, let's circle back to the DOs one last time, but focus on notable producers. Help our listener connect regions to names.
Good idea. Gives a clear picture of the quality and diversity within each region.
Starting with Rioja Doca and Rioja Alavesa. You mentioned Bodegas by Gori, modern gravity-fed, Remoluri, biodynamic, terroir-focused, Viñedos de Pagano Sierra Cantabria, high-altitude structured, and Contador Benjamin Romeo, cult wines, concentrated. Quite a range.
Those really show the spectrum in Rioja Alavesa, from elegant, modern styles to deeply traditional, terroir-driven wines. High quality across the board.
Then, in the Tecalina DOs, Texum and Exenis and Getaria sounds like the classic benchmark.
Very much so. synonymous with classic Caterria.
It's a Smendi in Bizkaya, known for diverse styles, innovation.
Right, they push boundaries a bit, explore different expressions.
And Gorka is a year, also Bizkaya, focusing on food pairing.
Yes, very gastronomy-focused wines. These are all benchmark producers showcasing the best of their DOs, the different nuances.
And across the border, French Basque Country, Irulegi AOC, Domaine Brana, consistent quality, and Domaine Aratzia, biodynamic, mineral.
These producers really demonstrate Iruligi's unique character, often a bit more rustic, intensely terroir-focused, great
The
wines.
importance of these DOs really comes through, guaranteeing standards, protecting identity, linking wine to place, giving consumers reliable info.
The DO system is absolutely essential. Maintains integrity, reputation, ensures quality, and that connection to origin.
So looking ahead, challenges and future perspectives for Basque wine.
Like everywhere, yeah, there are unique challenges, but also exciting opportunities.
Managing that humid climate seems like a constant battle, right? Fungal disease risk, ripening issues in cool years, soil moisture.
Absolutely. Adapting viticulture to mitigate those climate risks is an ongoing central focus for everyone there.
And competing globally, especially educating people about Texacooli's unique style. Plus, many producers are small scale.
Raising awareness and understanding of Texacoli in a crowded market is key, and finding ways for smaller family producers to thrive and reach audiences. Those are definite challenges.
But there's also encouraging stuff. Growing emphasis on sustainability, preserving those indigenous grapes, developing enotourism.
Yes, the commitment to sustainability and showcasing their unique heritage through thoughtful tourism are very positive trends.
And ongoing research. Improving quality, adapting to climate change, maybe diversifying the wine range.
Continuous research and innovation will be vital for resilience, for dynamism in the industry.
So it seems the future hinges on strengthening the Texacooli brand, fostering more diversification and innovation, but keeping that strong commitment to sustainability.
Exactly. Those elements will be crucial for continued growth and global recognition.
Okay, learner, let's bring our deep dive into Basque wine to a close. The main takeaway. These wines, especially Texacooli, offer something truly distinctive.
Memorable.
Think vibrant freshness, often that delightful fizz, and a really clear expression of that Atlantic terroir.
And what's really fascinating is that harmony between Texacooli and Basque cuisine. It just highlights how deeply wine is woven into the culture.
Right.
The wine's refreshing qualities are just the perfect complement to those fresh, often seafood-focused dishes.
Absolutely. From coastal Becheria to inland Bizkaya and Álava, plus Rioja Alavesa within the Basque Country. It's a region with rich history and a real dedication to its identity. Understanding these wines gives you a glimpse into a different approach, one that really embraces freshness and regional character.
And that understanding, well, it enriches your appreciation for wine diversity globally. Shows how environment and culture create such distinct, compelling wines.
So, here's a final thought for you, learner. Given the Basque Country's super strong cultural identity and dedication to tradition, how might the growing global interest in unique, terroir-driven wines impact the future of this region and its, well, wonderfully well-kept secrets?
Interesting question.
Perhaps your next tasting adventure should be a virtual trip to the Basque Country. Thanks so much for diving deep with us today.